Oh, good. Hi, Alice. So good to see you. Hi.
Y'all had to be here later.
This side of it, down in the front,
Right by Mi Cocina. Mi Cocina is the only restaurant here. It's the one right on the corner. Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, I'll get Steve, who has on a cowboy hat. I'll get him to step out there and look for you. Wave you down. Yes. It's the only one here. Okay. Excellent. All right. All right. Thanks. Bye. Would you step out?
section there, I looked up and I said,
And then there's like A-D-E-A-D-E-L-I-A.
It doesn't have these.
I don't know.
you're good.
And I'll be gone. I'll be back on the 19th. I wanted to do the wreaths across America.
And this is my cousin Verna.
Well, welcome. Pull up a chair while we still have some. Oh, welcome. And we invite you to write the name of a loved one.
My husband's on there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I hope you'll find this meaningful and encouraging.
I actually found out last year.
You did? Down here?
Yes.
You did?
And then Edward talked about it, and I said, I went last year, so I'll be there. I'll be there.
That's so great. Well, thanks for being here. Good to know you.
It's right behind that. And I like going out there. Sometimes I just go out there. It's outdoors and everything. And then my granddaughter.
Okay.
So there's quite a five.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Check. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 2. Let that reverb. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. Check. 1, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Okay. I'll see you later. Let me go higher.
going on today, what this is, and why it's here. I got 30 of these right now. Why is that important?
He's marking them too, so you're welcome to do two, but just. And if the loss was of color, that's what the yellow part.
Oh, exactly. Thank you.
You know, yeah.
It's the reason we
I remember that. Go, Ron.
Right. Oh, it's hardwood. Yes. We love it.
this goes up on the and it falls into the river.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, she wove it into this rough edges.
Well, I'm not worried about my life, but I'm not worried about it. So, it's just funny how life works, right?
This is free. Oh, wow.
So have y'all done a ribbon yet? Okay, thank you. Good.
Well, I need to get over and read your.
A little bit of our history. Yeah.
This is our 10th.
It was kind of a. It started, I did my doctorate of ministry, and I felt like if I was called to do pastoral care, and my husband called me funeral friend because
She's real good at it.
I did a ton of funerals, right, I know. And so then I met Wendy, who was at Faith Hospice, and we realized that people didn't recognize the ongoing nature. So we wanted to come up with a model that would recognize that, but be involved with faith and liturgy and a way to tell your story, because it's all about telling our story. And most other grief places, they would have a speaker that would talk about grief. We wanted the people who grieve.
Try to
Their house, they had this tiny house that my niece her husband stepson moved back in.
Let's act like, look like we're doing something so that
We are doing
I
something.
know, so that I think we even match. We look like, even our glasses are just match.
Lock your glasses. Oh gosh, I got a lot more of these. I'll tell you more.
Get those out.
I do. I've got a friend right there in the black poncho. She's also hanging around.
Isn't that just the pool?
Yeah. Got more to pass out.
I'm waiting on the Harley. So good afternoon and welcome on this first day of Advent and first day of Hanukkah to the Faith and Grief Ministries. I serve this year as board chair of Faith and Grief Ministries. We are currently in our 10th year of offering grief support to people in all stages of grief, not only in the Dallas area, but thanks to the pandemic, all over the country. The arch you see behind me began as a Christmas tree in Thanksgiving Square in 2006 as a memorial to the Dallas police officers who were killed in July of that year. The tree has now been replaced with the beautiful arch you see behind me in the lovely setting we enjoy today. We estimate that over the past few years, over 6,000 ribbons have been tied over the past 4 years here at Klyde Warren Park. Each year, Klyde Warren welcomes over 1 million visitors. It is our hope that a few of those will stop by and tie a ribbon in honor of someone that they've lost. Grief is the one thing that might unite all of us, because I think we probably all lost someone who was special to us. As we begin our service, we'd like to thank our platinum sponsors for this year's arch: Faith Presbyterian Hospice and Northridge Presbyterian Church. We would also like to thank our silver sponsors: Crescent Realty, Methodist Dallas, St. Michael's and All Angels Episcopal Church, East Dallas Christian Church, and Mark and Geraldine Keever. If you are here from those organizations, will you please raise your hand so that we can recognize you? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, we want to thank our volunteers who will be here from today till December 17th, who suffer construction, platinum parking, and all of those who help this run smoothly.
Water, insignificant and alone, leaves ripples in the larger pool when it falls, joining with the wider wake. It comes together, mingles, and shifts into powerful, healing streams, flowing through the parched desert of grief-stricken hearts, and refreshes the thirsty with hope. Whether you are parched, cling to the promise that justice will course riotously through the desert, or you wait for the hope within you to quicken, draw near and know that God is near. Between the ripples that stretch across the water, God is within the cracks of the thirsty desert. God is here, tending to the broken edges of our hearts. God is near.
Good afternoon. I'm Kentra Vicky Glicken. I'm the senior cantor at Temple Emmanuel in Dallas. And as a member of the clergy, I know that none of us can go through life without losing someone we love. No matter our faith tradition, no matter our beliefs, We know that part of being human is experiencing loss. And we also know that part of being human is finding the strength, the courage, the blessing to keep moving forward. To know that the mirror of the loss is also a mirror of love. To know that the mirror of pain is also the mirror of healing. To know that the mirror of tragedy is also the mirror of blessing. The psalmist knew this. In writing the words of walking in the valley of the shadow of death, the psalmist knew this. And so I'm going to invite you to recite the words of Psalm 23 with me if you know them. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still water. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Healing.
נפשי שובב ישובב ינחני ומגלי צדק למען שמו למען שמו תערוך לפניי שולחן בצורריי דישון בשמן ראשי עושי
And I'm going to give a reflection, well, two,
first in English and then in Spanish. We're here gathered around this. As has been stated, if we live long enough, we all experience grief. That's how life is. I learned this as a child. It's very difficult to bury a parent and then grandparents. So I'm acquainted with grief. And I think perhaps some of you are acquainted with grief recently. Maybe in this last year of pandemic. In the pandemic at the beginning, I buried my stepfather, my cousin, and then later in the year lost my aunt to COVID. This has hit everyone around the world. We can also grieve for other things. The state of our society, of our country. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I thought about some famous words uttered at the beginning of World War II. This could be our finest hour. And I hoped that for the United States. And it hasn't been our finest hour. Sometimes we can grieve about our society. But I also want to tell you where I found hope. Some years ago, when my grandmother passed away, I made my first visit to Spartan and Hillcrest Cemetery in December. I had never been there. My father is buried in the shadow of Temple Emmanuel. My grandparents are buried there, and I had never been to a cemetery in December. And I was deeply touched, driving through there alone, by the sight of wreaths and flowers. And I felt a solidarity with many other people, with strangers who I had never seen, who I would never meet. But I felt not alone. I remember thinking, driving through the cemetery, oh, other people feel what I feel, because I could see the evidence all around me. I found hope in a cemetery by visual clues. So let me suggest we can find hope in shared human experience. Whatever faith or lack of faith, you are not alone. We are not alone. Human beings have been doing this for thousands of years. I found hope also in my community of faith. The people who welcomed me when I joined, they said, welcome home. And I found faith in a personal, both transcendent and immanent Creator God. We don't have to have a supernatural worldview to believe in things beyond human perception. We know that reality exists that human beings cannot perceive. How do we know this? Dogs can hear things we don't hear. We know there's infrared light. We can't see it. We know there's ultraviolet light. These things are real, and they are beyond human perception. So I would encourage you in your faith, in your journey, to reach and grasp the reality and the truth that exists that is beyond our physical abilities to perceive. Es un honor para mí estar aquí con ustedes esta tarde. Quiero compartir dos pensamientos. Uno sobre la tristeza de perder los seres queridos. Y la segunda de dónde encontrar esperanza. Yo encontré la muerte desde niño joven cuando perdí a mi padre. Después mis abuelos. Es muy difícil enterrar uno de sus padres y sus abuelos. Es una pérdida muy grande. Y todos creo que hemos perdido y hemos sentido la pérdida de muertes bajo esta pandemia. También podemos estar tristes por la condición de nuestra sociedad. de la gente que nos rodea, de la pérdida que hemos sentido como seres humanos, no solamente en este país, pero en muchos. Yo pensé al principio que esto podría ser nuestro tiempo más fino como seres humanos. Lamentablemente no ha sido así. Pero también les quiero decir dónde he encontrado la esperanza. Yo encontré esperanza una vez visitando un cementerio, a ver el sepulcro de mi abuelita. Cuando entré fue el mes de diciembre. Jamás había estado en un cementerio en este mes. Pero entré y vi allí manejando en el auto solo las imágenes, la evidencia de mucha gente que estaban pasando tristeza igual que yo. Había flores, había adornos de la época, de la estación del año. Y yo me sentí identificado con estas personas no conocidas, desconocidas, que jamás iría a conocer yo en esta vida. Pero me dio ánimo sentir que no estoy solo. Quiero ayudarte. No estás solo. No estamos solos. Los seres humanos hemos experimentado estas cosas por siglos y siglos de vida humana. Finalmente yo también he encontrado esperanza en mi comunidad de fe, donde me recibieron cuando me asocié, me dijeron, bienvenido a tu hogar, a tu casa, a tu familia. Finalmente he encontrado esperanza en el Dios Todopoderoso, Creador, que es inminente y trascendente. Es alto y poderoso y grande, pero también está aquí y vive en los corazones de sus seguidores. Quiero animarte que puedes encontrar esperanza en ese Dios personal y en la realidad que existe más allá de la percepción humana. Sabemos que existe realidad más allá de lo que podemos percibir. Los perros, aquí hay uno, pueden escuchar sonidos que el ser humano no oye. Sabemos que la luz, hay luz ultravioleta y hay luz más allá del rojo, infrared. Estas cosas existen, pero son más allá, es una realidad más allá de la percepción humana. Te animo a que busques esa realidad más allá de la percepción. Gracias.
Such a beautiful expression that we have already experienced together. As I think about grief, grief has been described in so many different ways. Some describe the purpose of each one of those images. They both have limits to them. If my grief is a mountain, then it seems like it's too big for me to carry with me. If it's a river, rivers always flow away from me, but never back to me. As I thought about that, I think of grief as a small child that growing up home, I would carry rocks in my pockets because there was a big dog that would chase us home every day. And so a part of our routine, I would fill my pockets with rocks to prepare myself, to protect myself on the way home. And there was also my entertainment because there was a creek across the street in the woods, and I would take those rocks and skip them. But there was also my companion, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But my mother got upset. She said, Todd, the rocks that you're carrying are too sharp, and they're ripping holes in your pockets. So Mother said, if you want to carry rocks, go to the creek and get smooth rocks, and they won't tear your pants. Sometimes grief is those sharp edges of those rocks that cut and tears our lives. But if you just let them stay in the rivers of life long enough, the waters over time will smooth the rough edges out. And they will no longer be as sharp as they once were. They will no longer cut as deep as they were, and you can carry them. And when the dogs of depression and sadness chase you, you can use those rocks to chase those demons away. But as I also thought about those rocks, there was also my entertainment. Because smooth rocks skip so much better than those with sharp edges. And there are times in which I think about those who I have lost. And I have a little fun remembering how my grandmother would tell me, I'm a grown woman, I can do whatever I want to. I remember about my grandmother, Miss Shulamay, who taught me to multiply when I was struggling. She said, Todd, just count on your fingers. I remember those people, they bring smiles to my faces. But there's also my companions. Because sometimes I have those days when I don't think about sadness, I don't think about grief, and I reach my hand in my pocket for my keys or for my wallet, and I touch one of my rocks. And I pull it out and remind me that I'm not in life by myself. I have a great cloud of witnesses. I have a great family around me that goes with me each and every day. Grief can be sharp. It can have some sharp edges, especially when life ends too fast or life is cut off so quickly. But over time, your tears are those great rivers that sand the sharp edges away. So when you cry, I'm not crying, I'm just sanding my rocks. When I'm sad, I'm not depressed, I'm just sanding my rocks. When days are melancholy, I'm just sanding my rocks. But as we go through life, my pockets were not large enough for all the rocks of the people that I've lost. So I've learned not to carry my rocks in my two pockets, but carry my rocks in my pocket. That is big enough to carry the lives of my family, those who are with me, and those who will never leave me. I'm reminded in my faith tradition of a young boy who killed a giant, not with jagged stones, but with rocks he found in a brook. So I challenge you to sand the rocks of our memories. And I promise you, no amounting of sanding will ever make them disappear. But oh, it will make them so much smoother. So they will smile, and when you feel the wind on your cheek, that's them letting you know that we're smooth now. Everything is going to be all right. They also my companions because I carry my rocks forever with me. They make me smile. They make me remember. And yes, sometimes they bring a tear to my face. But I'm remembering every tear just sands my rock and makes it so much smoother. May God bless you as you carry around the individuals who you have lost. They'll always be with you. The smoothness of life will make them allow you to smile. So many ribbons are behind you. So many rocks. But buildings are built on rocks. Civilization stands on rocks. We are here because we stand on the shoulders of so many rocks that traveled before us. May God bless you and may God keep you. This will ever be my prayer.
For our closing and going forth, please join me and hear these words.
Go forth from this time knowing that you are loved, and each of you is sacred in the eyes of the Holy One. Be blessed in remembering your loved one that you honor with these ribbons. Know that those whose life you grieve, remember, and celebrate live on in you and have the power to help you and others in our continued journeys. Knowing that your life is sacred, look into the eyes of others to see those who may be in need of that which you have. Because the world is in a time of such crisis, be the light. Be the courage that brings comfort, hope, reconciliation, and healing. Do good when others will not or cannot. Love yourself in the light and in the darkness. Have courage to be and become. Now may peace, hope, and healing bless you all. Amen.
Thank you all for being here. Go in peace.
You're good. But that was like the first week of the event too.
Yeah, no, it was. We were at the VA hospital in Dallas when it started shutting down. It was scary. And 80 pounds of routine felt so panic. The doctors were freaking out.
Yeah, they were.
Right. And everybody knew.
Yeah, we took it home.
And yeah, we took him. We did a week in hospice at my mother-in-law's house. And so I'm still there. Get myself organized here. All right, tell me when you're ready.
You ready?
So about a year ago, Rosie showed up. And she actually met Lynn Meggers the first day. And I was out here afterwards, and Lynn said, you need to talk to this young lady. She wants to start a memorial for those who've lost someone
during the time of the pandemic. And I said, sure, I'll talk to I'll talk to anybody because I think it'd be really kind of cool to do that. So then we talked, I think, the first time.
Yeah.
And then talk about how you found out about this and how that became the Yellow Heart Memorial.
So I was actually laying in bed watching TV, and I seen the memorial arch on the news, and it said that they were dedicating it to COVID victims, which for me, that really hit me because I lost my mom to COVID May 17th, 2020. So I was like, I have to get down there. I have to put a ribbon on there. And we have a huge COVID community, so a lot of people were like, oh my God, please add a ribbon for me, add a ribbon for me. So when I came down here, I had a list of names, and is it Megan? Or whoever was here.
Yeah, Lynn was here, and you started filling them out, and she asked you why so many. Why were you filling out so many ribbons?
And so I said, well, we have a huge community of, we have a huge COVID community, and everybody wants their loved one's name put on there. So I finally got to speak to Shelly, and I said, this is something that I've been wanting to do for the community. So me and Shelly got together, we brainstormed, we knocked on a couple of doors, and we finally got a yes, and that's how Yellow Heart Memorial started. And so now we have memorials all over the United States, and we're just helping keep everyone's loved one's memory alive. But I'm truly grateful to have even seen the arch on TV and met Shelly through this. We've also done a podcast with Shelly.
Yeah. Done a podcast, we've done everything.
Yeah, we've done everything. So she's just been like really supportive of Yellow Heart Memorial, and I just couldn't thank her enough for taking me under her wing. And so here we are today, and so I'm just really grateful. So we have the yellow hearts that are on the ribbons for people that have been lost to COVID. Down here we'll see a big group of our community has requested ribbons. So I came and did their ribbons today, and I'll post pictures on Yellow Heart Memorial so they can see all of their ribbons that we put on there today. Yep.
All right, we're good. Awesome. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah. So people are actually messaging. So I'll just tell them. I'll post those links.
Yeah, just go to the ribbons link, and we'll add them there. We've got a backlog of I don't even know how many. We're like at 500 or something ribbons right now. I have a team of volunteers at Senior Source who are writing them out for us.
Okay.
Which eventually I need to connect you with them because they'd be really helpful.
Okay.
Like if you wanted them to cut hearts for you or sign hearts or whatever. They've been really easy.
Because when it sticks, that's when it has effect on you. When it gives somebody something to keep in your head that you have to think about all the time, and it has multiple ways.
Yes, it is true, and it's just you helped that one take that first step.
It's okay.
That first step to get through it.
Well, and even the metaphor works in living through it long term. Because sometimes you get to a point where you think, I've been doing this too long. I shouldn't still have those tears coming, right?
I told another lady it was like that survey we use in school. I'm a school counselor at their school.
Oh, you are?
But we have the children's book, Grief is Like a Snowflake, and most people that use it at our school are teachers that come to borrow it for themselves. And just like explaining it to kids that it's,
I gotta get that.
It's like they said for sometimes it's going to be like a blizzard.
Yep.
Other days it's just going to be a few flurries
That's
here and there.
exactly how it is.
But it's always going to melt and it's always going to grow.
Grief is a
And
snowflake.
just getting them to understand that it's yeah.
Down out of Chicago.
I love it. I was just. It looks like he has a thing on his lens cap.
He's going to take a couple pictures. Thank you.
Some of us do.
Some of us
With
do.
a little chemical help.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to ask a
I'm going to
question?
ask you a question. Who wants to speak first? Fran, tell us about how the arch got started.
The Arch got started in 2016 in a compassionate response from the 5 first responders who were murdered in downtown Dallas. And we were aware of individual grief, but we knew about community grief too. So we put together a tree and called it the Community Tree of Remembrance. And in addition to that, since the tree was so far away, we put a small arch on the ground level, and that is what drew people's attention because they wanted to write the name of a loved one on a ribbon and tie it to the arch. So the arch continued to be to grow and become our symbol and our gift to the community.
Okay, Wendy, how did Faith and Grief get started?
2008, Fran and I got together. I was working at Faith Presbyterian Hospice at the time. And we both had been having people come through classes and realized they were coming back again and again. And we knew we weren't telling anything new. And we thought we needed a new program. So we formed a thing we called a gathering, which would happen in an hour, and did it in the arms of the church, so that the faith issues could be addressed as part of the group. And from that has grown to be so much more.
Sharon, how'd you get involved?
I came on board a few months after the very first gathering, primarily because it was happening at my church. I had gone through my own grief journey. I felt like I had survived it and that I might have something to contribute to others who were walking this journey for the first time. So I signed up to volunteer, thinking that it was just going to be a program in one church. And as the years went by, we began to expand to other locations and thought that there might this program might have legs that could go out beyond the Dallas market. And so we incorporated, became a 501c3, and took off from there.
Cool. All right, last thing. Maybe each introduce yourself and then together say, we invite you to come to the arch, or something like that. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Because we'll just, so I'll start here and just go da-da-da and say,
Okay.
come out to the arch.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm Fran Shelton.
Sharon Balch.
Wendy Finn.
Come on to the arch.
All right, yay.